discovered how a millionaire's amazing ACT transformed an employee's life after unjust firing. In the heart of a bustling suburban town, life at Joe's Diner buzzed like the clink of coffee cups. Sarah, a 32-year-old waitress, donned her crisp apron and a smile that could light up the darkest corners. She worked every shift with warmth, treating each customer as if they were family, all while juggling her role as a devoted single mother to 8-year-old Lily and 5-year-old Jake. But tragedy struck when she was unjustly fired after a misunderstanding with Mr. Thompson, a millionaire who frequented the diner known for his big heart. In a matter of moments, Sarah's world turned upside down. Her heart raced with anxiety as she pictured her children facing a life without basic comforts. They want to have new shoes, she fretted, and the thought made her chest tighten. How would she explain the situation to Lily and Jake? Whenever she looked into their innocent eyes, the thought of disappointment pierced her heart like a dagger. Feeling small and helpless, Sarah confided in her elderly neighbor, Mr. Jenkins, who had become a pillar of strength in her life. "You have to reach out to the community," he urged. "You'll see the true spirit of our town." That suggestion gnawed at Sarah. Each night, she tossed and turned, battling feelings of humiliation. Yet, Mr. Jenkins reminded her of the values she cherished: community, kindness, and resilience. As Mr. Thompson unknowingly began questioning his lifestyle, reflecting on his conversations with Sarah about the struggles of working-class families, something stirred within him. He found himself sipping coffee at the diner, plagued by a nagging sense of loss. He missed seeing Sarah's laughter, and more importantly, he began to wonder what changes in his life could lead him to a greater purpose. As Sarah embarked on the daunting job hunt, rejection after rejection crushed her spirit. She fought against despair, but each no felt like a heavier weight on her chest. Just when it seemed hopeless, the diner's regulars began to rally behind her, raising awareness on social media about her struggles. Their voices united. They shared her story, igniting a fire in the community and asking questions about social inequality and the basic human right to earn a living wage. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the community's chorus of support started making waves, Mr. Thompson stumbled upon the posts. He was taken aback by a candid photo of Sarah smiling with her children. It was that wallop of a moment that hit him hardest. This time, he wasn't just looking through a lens of privilege. He saw a woman unyieldingly fighting for her children, facing adversity with her head held high. His heart raced, and for the first time, he felt compelled to take action. With the town rallying behind Sarah and the weight of empathy igniting in Mr. Thompson, the air crackled with anticipation. Would he step forward to help? What impact would it have on Sarah's life? As the door to Joe's Diner swung open once more, everyone held their breath, anxious to see how this intertwined fate could rewrite their stories. Mr. Thompson stood at the entrance of the diner, his heart pounding. The familiar aroma of freshly brewed coffee mixed with sizzling bacon wafted through the air, but it wasn't the comfort of the diner he craved. It was the opportunity to make things right. He stepped inside, his presence pulling attention like a magnet. All eyes turned to him with a mix of surprise and curiosity. Sarah glanced up from the counter, and their eyes locked for a moment. Her smile faltered, uncertainty peeking through. What was he doing here? Had he come to gloat? Or did he truly have a change of heart? "Mr. Thompson," one of the regulars called out. A collective breath was held. Mr. Thompson cleared his throat, the weight of his decision heavy upon him. "I've come to apologize," he began, his voice steady yet laced with a tremor of vulnerability. Gasps rippled through the diner. The room fell silent. For a man of his stature, admitting fault was a rare act. Sarah's heart raced as she processed his words, battling the flicker of hope igniting within her. "I didn't understand not until I saw how my actions impacted you and your family," he continued, sincerity pouring from him. He walked towards Sarah slowly, the clinking of cutlery and hushed whispers the only sounds accompanying him. "I want to help you." Sarah's breath caught in her throat. How could you possibly help? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper. You took everything from me. Pain threaded through her words, but deep down, she wondered if this was the opportunity she desperately needed. Mr. Thompson took another step closer. I want to offer you a job. The words hung in the air, weighty with promise. I can give you a position at my office. You'd be working in community outreach. I think you'd be perfect for it. A flicker of disbelief danced in Sarah's eyes. Could it be real? In that moment, the fear of returning to a life of uncertainty clashed with the glimmer of hope blooming inside her. And there's more, Mr. Thompson continued eagerly, sensing the turbulence of emotions swirling within her. I want to also help you with your children's needs, schooling, activities, whatever it takes. Sarah felt her walls crumbling as tears threatened to spill. Here was this man, a millionaire who had once dismissed her, now extending a lifeline. She blinked, trying to process the magnitude of his offer. But why? Why now? Because I realized that I can no longer live in a bubble, Mr. Thompson answered, his tone earnest. Your story opened my eyes. I want you to have a chance to succeed. The diner seemed to hold its breath, the atmosphere charged with an unspoken question. Would Sarah accept? She glanced at her children playing with crayons at a nearby booth. Their laughter wove through the tension, a melody of innocence. They needed her to be strong. I don't know what to say, she stammered, the weight of his offer heavy in her heart. Just say you'll think about it. His eyes held a blend of hope and regret. As Sarah struggled with her emotions, the chatter of the diner resumed around them, but her mind spun in circles. This wasn't just about her. It was about her kids and their future. And what about the community that had rallied for her? Could she accept this, or would it feel like a betrayal? Can I have some time? She finally asked. I need to talk to my neighbor. He.'s always there for me. Of course. Mr. Thompson nodded, a hint of relief washing over him. As the door swung open, Sarah felt the conflicting tides of anger, hope, and gratitude surging within her. Could a millionaire truly change? And what would it mean for her, her children, and the community that stood by her? The next move could change everything. As she gazed at Mr. Thompson, one question echoed in her heart. Could this new beginning lead to healing for both of them? Little did she know, a revelation awaited her that would redefine her understanding of compassion and community in unimaginable ways. Sarah stepped out of the diner, the cool air wrapping around her like a familiar blanket. It felt strange, so different from the heavy atmosphere inside. As she walked along the cracked pavement of Main Street, she could still hear the echoes of Mr. Thompson's words. Offer. Job. Help. Her heart battled within her chest. She needed time to think, yet her mind raced with possibilities. The sound of children laughing behind her pulled her back from the edge of her thoughts. Her kids. Their eager faces flashed through her mind, their wide eyes filled with dreams that she struggled to keep alive. Could she trust him? Every day had been a challenge since the firing. Long hours worrying over bills, and the uncertainty of tomorrow left little room for hope. Mr. Thompson's offer sparked a flicker, the kind of light she hadn't felt in months. But could she let go of the painful past? Could she forgive? Mommy, Timmy shouted as he sprinted toward her, arms open wide. We colored a dinosaur. Can we show you? Her heart squeezed at the sight of her son's joy, untouched by the heaviness of adult burdens. Of course, baby, she said, bending down to meet him, embracing him tightly. As he pulled away, his excitement melted the ice around her heart. This was for them. But then there was the hurt, the mistrust that lingered, warning her not to fall for sweet promises too soon. Memories of the day she lost her job haunted her thoughts like shadows. Mr. Thompson's face had been unreadable then, devoid of empathy or understanding. Could he truly have changed in such a short time? Mom, look what I made. Lily chimed in, waving a crayon drawing. Her daughter's bright smile lit up the gray afternoon, and Sarah felt the urge to protect that innocence at all costs. Wow, sweetie, that's amazing. Sarah forced the doubt away, focusing on this moment, this happiness. Yet a part of her worried. What if accepting his offer meant abandoning everything her community had fought for? With every turn, she pondered how to balance her needs against the expectations of those around her. Questions piled up. Did they want her to stay rooted in struggle, or to seize this chance for a better life? As they walked home, she felt a small weight shift in her heart. Could she be the one to bridge this gap? What if accepting help was not a sign of weakness, but rather a step toward strength? If she could dare to dream again, what did that mean for her kids? Think, Sarah, think. Back at home, she laid out the drawing on the dining table, her kids' laughter still echoing in her ears. She missed being a dreamer, an activist, the woman who believed in possibilities. And yet, here she was, craving the very thing she fought against. The evening grew still as they settled down for dinner. The mundane clatter of forks and plates filled the silence, but her thoughts were far from passive. When she stole a glance at them, she realized something profound. What if Mr. Thompson's offer led to something bigger, a chance to change not just her life, but to impact the community that had always rallied behind her? Just as the weight of these thoughts crushed down, the doorbell rang. Who could it be? Lily asked, bouncing with curiosity. Sarah rose, still caught in the whirlwind of her contemplation. As she opened the door, her heart skipped a beat. It was Mr. Thompson, looking more vulnerable than before, an unreadable expression painted on his face. Sarah, he began, but she wasn't ready to hear him. What now? She interrupted, her voice trembling with unresolved tension. In that moment, it felt like the world hung in balance. The door creaked as both the past and future stood before her. What would she say? And how would it change everything from here on out? Sarah, please, just hear me out, Mr. Thompson said, voice steady but pleading. He shifted his weight, hands clasped in front of him as if desperately trying to hold on to something tangible. She felt the air thicken between them, and for a moment, the chaotic world around her stopped. Timmy and Lily peeked out from behind her, their innocent faces framing the door. Mommy, who is that? Timmy whispered, sensing the tension. Not now, sweetie, she breathed, her focus still on Mr. Thompson. Just a minute, he continued, his tone softening. I came to apologize. Not just for losing your job, but for the way I handled everything. I should have shown compassion, not just business. I was wrong, and I'm sorry. Sarah felt anger flare inside her. Hadn't she replayed that very day enough to fill a lifetime? Sorry doesn't pay the bills, Mr. Thompson. It doesn't help put food on the table. You were the one who made the decision to fire me. I know, he replied, his gaze never wavering. I've thought about it every day since. I can't change the past, but I can offer a chance to make things right. I want you back on the team. She furrowed her brow, wrestling with the rush of emotions swelling within her. And why should I believe you? Trust is not something I can hand out easily. You shouldn't, he said, his voice dropping. But I'm not just offering you a job. I want to help you in a way that benefits the community too. I'm putting together a new initiative, one that focuses on rebuilding our town, helping those who lost their livelihoods. But I need someone to spearhead it, someone local who understands the heart of this place. Someone like you. His words hung in the air, a mix of hope and anxiety swirling together. She wanted to dismiss him, to slam the door and close her heart to yet another broken promise. But deep down, there was a part of her that ached for change, for progress. Is this for real? Sarah asked, feeling an ember of hope ignite within her, even as doubt clung to her thoughts like a shadow. What about the others, the people you let go when I was fired? I want to right those wrongs, Sarah. I can't undo what has been done, but I can help rebuild, he said passionately. But I need you. I need a voice like yours. If you believe it can work, I'll make sure everyone affected has a chance to come back. It's time for us to show this community that we care. Lily's small hand squeezed Sarah's leg, breaking her from the spell. She looked down at her daughter, then back at Mr. Thompson, searching for sincerity in his eyes. Could she trust this man? Did she dare to believe? Why should I help you? She challenged, still feeling sprigs of rebellion within her. Because I believe in change, he replied simply. For both of us. For this town. For your children. Again, the weight of history loomed large over her. Sarah inhaled deeply, feeling the shift within her. This was not just about her anymore. It was about her kids, their future. With Mr. Thompson's offer came the chance to take back control, not just of her life, but potentially of many others' lives as well. Let me think about it, she finally said, her heart pounding. Take your time, he replied, stepping back, but leaving the door ajar for possibility. As she closed the door, the reality of what had just transpired crashed over her. The ambivalence, a blend of hope and fear, left her reeling. She could keep fighting against the tide, but what if this was the opportunity she desperately needed? What was he talking about? Timmy asked, breaking the silence. It's nothing, honey, Sarah replied. But inside, the gears of her mind turned wildly. She felt alive, a spark igniting within her once more. Would she really take the leap? Could her voice make a difference? Feeling the enormity of the moment settle in, she turned to her kids, uncertain yet hopeful. She would do what was right for them. She did try to believe, but deep down, a question echoed: what if Mr. Thompson's change was real? Could she trust the man she had once deemed her enemy? And if she decided to step forward, how would it reshape not only her future, but the future of her entire community? The morning sun poured through the kitchen window, illuminating the remnants of last night's chaos. Dishes were stacked high, and the table teemed with half-finished homework and art projects. Sarah stood at the sink, scrubbing away, her thoughts wandering back to Mr. Thompson's unexpected proposal. The sound of Timmy and Lily bickering in the living room broke through her reverie. She could hear their laughter mixed with the shouts of playful arguments, an everyday sound that soothed her even in the midst of uncertainty. Mommy. Lily's voice rose above the chaos. Timmy said my drawing is yucky. Mommy. Timmy echoed. She started it. As usual, Sarah found herself caught in the middle of their sibling squabble. But for once, the argument felt distant. She was lost in Mr. Thompson's words. His desperate plea for her involvement echoed in her mind, swirling with her doubts and hopes. Could she trust him? How many times had she accepted empty words before? But what if things were different this time? The thought danced teasingly at the edges of her mind. If she chose to engage, what would that mean for her community? She turned off the faucet and wiped her hands on a dish towel. Okay, time out, she called, startling the kids. Let us discuss how you can solve your issues without yelling. They shifted their focus, eyes expectant as they sat cross-legged on the floor, ready for the usual family debate strategy. Sarah sat down beside them, her heart swelling with the love and warmth of being their mother. Timmy, she began gently, why do you feel the need to say Lily's drawing is yucky? Because it is, he replied, frustration evident. Okay, but what if you explained what you didn't like instead? She suggested. That way, she can understand how to make it better. With each passing second, a new decision unfolded in Sarah's heart. Could she speak up and use her voice in a way that impacted her children's lives, her life, and the town? Maybe it was time to role model the courage she wished for them. Lily, she turned empathetic eyes towards her daughter. What if you take Timmy's feedback and ask him what he thinks would make it better? The children looked at each other, and for a moment, something shifted. They began discussing the drawing together, slowly mending their brief conflict. It was a simple interaction, but it enveloped Sarah in a wave of realization. She could be the catalyst for change, just like she had felt with Mr. Thompson's offer. After the kids had reconciled, Sarah pulled out her phone, the fleeting thought of Mr. Thompson's words at the forefront of her mind. As she scrolled through her contacts, doubt started to creep in again. Would reaching out truly lead to something meaningful? Or would they both just end up back where they started? Taking a deep breath, she hesitated, finger hovering over the call button. Maybe this was more than just a job opportunity. It was a chance to embrace the life she wanted. Just as she was about to hit send, the doorbell rang. Startled, she tucked her phone away and stood up. The kids scrambled to their feet, rushing to the door, their curiosity bubbling. Who could that be? She wondered aloud. As she opened the door, a wave of surprise washed over her. Standing there was not Mr. Thompson, but a figure she hadn't expected at all, her neighbor, Mrs. Henderson, holding a basket filled with fresh vegetables. Hi, Sarah. I heard what happened with your job, and I thought you might like some help. You know, a little community love. Sarah's heart twisted. Just when she thought a decision was forming, now this. Thank you, Mrs. Henderson, she managed, the warmth spreading through her as she accepted the unexpected kindness. But now, doubts lingered anew in her. What did this really mean for her future? Was the community rallying behind her, ready to lift her up? Would she dive into Mr. Thompson's vision, fostering an initiative that embraced this very spirit? More questions poured in, leaving her unsettled, yet wrapped in the glowing possibilities that came with it all. As she closed the door gently, behind Mrs. Henderson, her mind raced. The offer lingered still, and now she had another reason to reconsider. What do you do when both options shimmer with the potential to change your destiny? What was she really prepared to risk for everything? The warmth of the basket felt comforting in her hands, a tangible reminder of the community surrounding her. Sarah placed it gingerly on the kitchen counter, the fresh vegetables an immediate distraction from her swirl of thoughts. Green zucchini, ripe tomatoes, and bright red peppers lay in vibrant contrast to the chaos of the kitchen. "Look, Mom," Timmy exclaimed, pointing at the colorful assortment. "Can we make a salad?" "Yeah, a big salad." Lily joined in, her earlier annoyance forgotten. Sarah smiled faintly, but her mind was still churning. The noise of giggles and chatter faded as she caught her breath and stared at the basket. The genuine gesture from Mrs. Henderson tugged at her heart. Hadn't she been yearning for this very kind of support? "All right," she began, shaking off her worries. "Let us make the biggest, best salad ever." As they pulled together the ingredients, chopping, mixing, and laughing, an unexpected sense of unity filled the kitchen. With each slice of the knife, she felt the weight of her own doubts lessen. Maybe she could draw strength from both her children and these community ties that were forming around her. "Mommy, can we have dressing?" Lily chimed, peeking over the bowl. "Of course, but let us make our own dressing. It'll be special." While they mixed olive oil, lemon juice, and a sprinkle of salt, Sarah found herself communicating what she hoped for her family. As they clinked forks and the salad came together, she realized this simple act held a profound lesson. Here, they weren't just making food. They were learning cooperation, empathy. Timmy grabbed a piece of tomato and cautiously held it out to Lily. "Try this. It's yummy," he encouraged. Sarah's heart swelled. In this moment, it dawned on her that she was doing more than setting up a meal. She was nurturing the love and warmth that she had grappled with in her own heart. The lesson of standing up, of utilizing voices, was seeping into their interactions. Once the salad was ready, they sat at the table, bowls filled and smiles surrounding them. As Sarah looked at her kids, she saw a reflection of resilience, genuine, beautiful hope. It reminded her of a truth that had begun to illuminate her heart. "All right, team," she grinned. "Who wants to help me make a plan?" "About what?" Timmy asked with a mouthful of salad. "About our future, and maybe how we can help our community." Both kids perked up, eyes shining with excitement. "Can we?" Lily squealed. "Absolutely. We can start small," she replied, the words tumbling out. "Like helping people with gardens, like Mrs. Henderson. Or organizing a neighborhood cleanup." The ideas flowed freely, each one accompanied by shouts of agreement and laughter around the table. A spark ignited within Sarah. Could she channel this energy into something real? They could be the very change they wanted to see. It wasn't just a dream. It was right there, in their grasp. As the conversation swirled, doubt still wove around Sarah's thoughts. Was she ready to make that leap into something more significant? In the midst of their planning, Timmy suddenly raised his hand, an expectant look on his face. "Mom, can we call Mr. Thompson about this? Maybe he can help." Sarah froze, the familiar mix of optimism and trepidation running through her veins. "Maybe he can," she said quietly, feeling the weight of the moment settle. As they delved deeper into their plans and dreams, she couldn't shake the feeling that everything was about to change. But would she have the courage to reach out when it really mattered? Would Mr. Thompson even be supportive? It was time to face the unknown. The next morning dawned crisp and bright, sunlight filtering through the kitchen window in a dance of warmth. Sarah stood at the sink, lost in thought as she washed the remnants of yesterday's salad making. The fresh vegetables were long gone, but the echoes of laughter still lingered in her mind. She could still see Timmy's face light up when he had offered that tomato to Lily, a small act that spoke volumes. But as she busied herself, that moment of joy was clouded by a gnawing worry. What if Mr. Thompson was preoccupied with his own troubles? What if reaching out for help only added more weight on her already heavy shoulders? "Mom, are we going to call Mr. Thompson today?" Timmy's voice jolted her from her reverie. "Yes, honey, we will," Sarah replied, her heart racing at the prospect. She turned to face her children, their eagerness infectious, but fear still loomed large in her own mind. They gathered at the kitchen table, where paper and crayons sprawl out like their ideas. Timmy had drawn a sun shining on a group of stick figures, while Lily's doodles were of flowers and trees. Each picture held a promise that flickered brightly amidst Sarah's uncertainty. "Okay, what's the first step?" she asked, though her voice trembled slightly. "Let us write him a letter," Timmy exclaimed, jumping from his chair. "We can tell him about our ideas." "Yes." And we can include our drawings. Lily added, bouncing with excitement. Encouraged by her kids' enthusiasm, Sarah pulled out a notepad. Heart pounding, she started writing. She wanted the words to be perfect, to convey their dreams, their hopes, everything that had been brewing in their hearts since that moment in the kitchen. Tell him how Mrs. Henderson helped us. Lily chimed in, her eyes wide with sincerity. You're right, Lily. As they poured their hearts onto the paper, Sarah found a rhythm. They crafted sentences about how they felt connected to the community and how their service project could unite their neighbors. It felt freeing. Each word they wrote softened her anxiety, as if with each stroke of the pen, she was letting go of a little more doubt. Once the letter was complete, Timmy read it aloud, his voice filled with anticipation. Dear Mr. Thompson, we want to help our neighborhood together like a big family. Each sentence ignited a spark of courage in Sarah. Now what? Lily asked, eyes shining as she bit her lip, awaiting a response. Now we make the call, Sarah replied, a tremble in her voice betraying the knot in her stomach. As she picked up the phone, she felt the weight of the moment crush down on her. This was more than just a call. It was a leap into the unknown. What if it didn't go well? What if he laughed at their ideas? Timmy reached for her hand, grounding her amidst the rising uncertainty. You can do it, Mom. Taking a deep breath, she dialed the number, the phone ringing a steady reminder of her deepening hope. Hello? Mr. Thompson's voice rang clear, and Sarah's heart raced. Mr. Thompson? Suddenly, she felt at the significance of what was ahead. It wasn't just about community projects. It was about standing up, claiming their place, and being heard. I want to talk to you about a project for our neighborhood, she stammered, a mix of fear and excitement filling her. Of course, I'd love to hear about it, he said, warmth reflected in his tone. As they discussed their vision, Sarah felt her chest swell with conviction. She was no longer drowning in doubt. She was swimming toward possibility. The future seemed to beckon, full of promise. But as the conversation continued, uncertainty flickered in her mind. Was this really the beginning? Would they get the support they needed, or would it fizzle out like so many dreams before? With another deep breath, she prepared to navigate the next steps, realizing that the biggest leap would always come just after the first step. What awaited them all on this journey? As the conversation came to an end, Sarah felt a sliver of hope woven into her chest. Thank you, Mr. Thompson. I appreciate your listening, she said, her voice steadier now. Thank you for reaching out, Sarah. It's inspiring to see the kids so engaged. We need more of that in our community, he replied. His words danced around her, wrapping her in warmth. She hung up the phone, adrenaline flooding her veins. Timmy and Lily leapt from their seats, their faces bright with expectation. What did he say? Timmy asked, bouncing on his heels. Sarah paused. For a moment, she hesitated. Was this the right time to share the biggest news? But looking at her children, their eyes filled with hope, she knew it was. He is excited about our project. He wants to help us. He said he'd have some suggestions by next week. Lily squealed, arms flung wide. We're going to do it, Mom. We're really going to help. The air sparkled with excitement. The kitchen that was once weighed down with doubts transformed into a bubbling space of creativity. Together, they began to brainstorm ideas, their voices mingling and growing bolder as they spilled forth plans for community gardens, cleanup days, and art projects that would create new connections among neighbors. Sarah felt lighter with every suggestion. As they sketched out dreams, she couldn't help but smile, the doubt that had clung to her like a shadow starting to fade away. Then, her phone buzzed again. It was a notification that made her heart jump. Look, she exclaimed, throwing her phone onto the table. It's a community event coming up this weekend. A neighborhood meeting. Looks like we can share our ideas there. Can we go? Can we go? Timmy begged, eyes wide with excitement. Yes, absolutely, Sarah replied, her heart pounding as she made the decision. This would be their chance to connect with others, to stand before the community that had always been a backdrop to their lives, but now might be a vital part of their story. As the week passed, Sarah watched her children's enthusiasm grow. They decorated posters and practiced their pitches, while her own nervousness ebbed away, replaced by a surge of purpose. The night before the meeting, she felt the weight of the moment settle heavy on her shoulders. What if no one listens? She pondered aloud, her voice tinged with uncertainty. Mom, they will. Everybody wants to help, Lily reassured, brushing Sarah's hair back. Just like Mr. Thompson. That tender moment was a balm to Sarah's worries. Just then, she felt a presence behind her. It was her neighbor, Mrs. Henderson, carrying a basket of fresh produce. "I heard you're getting involved in the upcoming meeting," she said, her voice warm like a hug. "I think that's wonderful. Can I help?" Sarah's heart swelled again. Of course. We'd love any help. As the days merged into the rhythm of preparation, Sarah felt stronger, galvanizing the spirit of community that seemed to flow back into her. The kitchen, the heart of their home, became a workshop of ideas, laughter, and planning for a brighter neighborhood. The night before the event, as she tucked her kids into bed, hope settled in the corners of her mind. What if they love our ideas? Timmy asked, his eyes sparkling in the moonlight. Sarah smiled softly, brushing her fingertip against his cheek. Then we'll bring our neighborhood together like never before. But deep down, she knew the real challenge lay ahead. Would they be met with open arms, or would old grudges and hesitation dampen their enthusiasm? As she closed the door to their room, Sarah stared at her reflection in the hallway mirror. The woman looking back felt different, not just from a worried mother, but from someone who dared to dream and take action. In that moment, she felt the weight shift again, but this time it was lighter. Tomorrow would be the beginning or the end. The thought was both exhilarating and terrifying. What challenges awaited them at the meeting? Would their efforts ignite a spark in their neighbors, or would fear hold them back? The sun peeked over the horizon, casting warm light through the kitchen window. Sarah's heart raced with anticipation. Today was the day. She glanced at her reflection again, noticing a flicker of excitement in her eyes. She took a deep breath, feeling the fresh energy that morning brought. "Are you guys ready?" she called out, her voice brighter than it felt. Timmy and Lily bounded into the kitchen, their posters in hand, enthusiasm radiating from their every movement. "Ready, ready," Timmy shouted, jumping up and down. "You look so cool." Lily was fascinated by the colorful poster they had made, splattered with sparkles and bright drawings of flowers and smiling children. "Thanks. We worked hard on it." Timmy beamed, clearly proud. As they prepared, Sarah's mind flipped through the possibilities of the day. Would everyone embrace their ideas? Would they be skeptics? She swallowed her worries. This was a day for connection, hope, and community spirit. They piled into the car, laughter filling the air like sunlight. As they drove through their familiar neighborhood, Sarah pointed out familiar landmarks: the park where they used to play, the library where they learned so much, and the grocery store where they met neighbors. "Today, we'll make it even better," she said, her voice steady, convincing herself alongside her children. When they arrived at the community center, a nervous energy buzzed around them. Families were gathering, chatting, and clamoring about. Sarah felt her heart thumping in rhythm with the voices surrounding her. Together, they walked up to the entrance, ready for the challenge ahead. Inside, the room was abuzz with chatter. Long tables held refreshments, while a small stage stood at one end, just waiting for someone to step up. Sarah could see familiar faces among the crowd, neighbors she had waved to but never really talked to. Folks who had lived down the street for years but remained strangers. As they took seats, Sarah noticed Mr. Thompson at the front, talking to a handful of community leaders. He caught her eye and smiled, a reassuring gesture. "Look, Mom," Lily whispered, eyeing a group of older kids setting up their own display. "They're just like us." Sarah nodded, her heart swelling with pride for her children's bravery. "Yes, sweetie. Everyone's passionate about making our neighborhood better." With the meeting about to start, each heartbeat echoed in her ears. She felt a wave of clarity wash over her. No matter what happens today, we've started something important already, she thought. We're here, together. When community leader Ms. Martinez called the meeting to order, the room settled into an attentive hush. Sarah grabbed the edges of the table, drawing strength from the sturdy wood beneath her fingers. "We're honored to hear from various groups today, including the youth who've been working hard," Ms. Martinez announced, her voice confident. "Who would like to start?" There it was, the moment of truth. "Mom, we should go," Timmy whispered urgently, his eyes darting to the stage. "Yeah, let us show them," Lily piped up, her excitement bubbling over. Every instinct told Sarah to stay seated. What if they laughed at their ideas? What if people didn't care? But in that moment, she spotted Mrs. Henderson, giving her a thumbs up from the back of the room, her expression deeply encouraging. Before she could talk herself out of it, Sarah stood up, holding Timmy and Lily's hands tightly in hers. The bright posters were in her other hand, a banner of their hope. They moved toward the stage, each step pushing past the fear that had kept her solidly in the background for so long. "Here we go," she breathed as they reached the edge of the stage, the bright lights shining down on them. As she looked out at the audience, her heart raced. Would they support her? Would they truly want to listen? "Hi, everyone," Sarah started, her voice shaky but resolute. But just as she began to form her thoughts, someone in the back shouted, "What do you think you can do for us?" The challenge hung in the air, sharp and heavy. The moment felt fragile, electric, and Sarah couldn't help but wonder, was she ready for this? The crowd watched intently as silence enveloped the room, waiting for her response. Sarah took a deep breath, the weight of the moment crashing over her like a tidal wave. The question hung in the air, but she felt a shift within her, a flicker of determination igniting her spirit. She glanced down at her children. Timmy's hopeful eyes and Lily's bright smile reminded her why she was standing here. They weren't merely figures on a piece of paper anymore. They represented a future filled with promise. "We're here," she said firmly, her voice growing stronger with each word, "because we believe in our neighborhood. We've all seen how much we can achieve when we come together." The crowd murmured, some nodding in agreement. That was a good sign. "We want to create community gardens and a cleanup program, projects that remind everyone of our connection, our strength." She let the passion pour out of her as she pointed to her children. "Timmy and Lily have shown me the importance of resilience and creativity." With a crack in her voice, she continued, "After everything, I learned that it's our stories that weave us together. Our stories are what can change lives." The silence was palpable as she paused to gauge their reactions. She could see curiosity sprinkled in the eyes of her neighbors, and she found courage in that flicker. "This journey started from my experience with losing my job unjustly, but it transformed into something that's bigger than me. I know many of you have faced struggles too. We can help reshape our community altogether." Slowly, a ripple of applause sparked from the back of the room, swelling as more people joined in. It filled her heart with warmth, a chorus of unity echoing in response to her words. She hadn't just introduced an idea. She had tapped into a collective hope they all longed for. "I believe," she said, "that change doesn't happen in isolation. It happens when we support one another, lifting each other up. So who's with us?" Cheers erupted, and the energy vibrated against the walls like a pulse. It was as if a door had opened, the atmosphere charged with determination, ready for action. From the corner of her eye, she noticed Mr. Thompson rise, taking a step toward the front. "I support this initiative completely," he announced, his voice booming with authority. "Everyone should have a voice that matters. Sarah, let us work together to bring this vision to life. We'll make sure this town thrives." More applause followed, shaking the very foundation of the room. Sarah's heart swelled with overwhelming gratitude. As she looked at her children, their faces radiated joy. Hope had blossomed and flourished before their very eyes. That evening, as they drove home, laughter spilled from the back seat. Timmy and Lily chattered about their plans, ideas racing forth like fireworks igniting. Sarah felt elated, the burdens that had once chained her to despair falling away piece by piece. "Mom, that was the best," Timmy exclaimed, eyes sparkling in the fading sunlight. "It was amazing. Can we do it again tomorrow?" Lily chimed in, bursting with optimism. As they pulled into the driveway, Sarah thought about the change happening in her life, a chain reaction born not only of her courage, but also from each person she connected with. The deep-seated fears of inadequacy were starting to dissolve, replaced by the belief that together, they could create something extraordinary. Sarah smiled, tears bubbling in her eyes. "Absolutely. Tomorrow is just the beginning." As they stepped inside their home, the sun sank beneath the horizon, casting everything in a gentle glow. The warmth touched her soul, and she felt a kinship with her community stronger than she could have ever imagined. There would still be challenges ahead. The road would not always be smooth, but for the first time in a long while, she could see the possibilities unfolding, a tapestry woven from dreams, support, and the love she had yearned to share. Together, they could elevate the narrative, crafting a hopeful future not only for themselves, but for every heart that beat in their town. It was time to embrace this new beginning, and Sarah was ready. Now, if you're feeling inspired by this journey of transformation, you need to subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories that will touch your heart. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help others discover these stories for themselves. Comment your reactions and feelings about this incredible ending. And don't forget to share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. This is the moment to show your support while you can. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Make your voice heard.